Okay, back again. Another episode of A Muslim and an Atheist Breaks Bread. What you saying, Pops?
I'm good.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? You're alive? You're well?
I'm definitely alive.
Just cold, yeah?
Yeah, well,
That's how you know
England.
it's running through your veins when you can feel the
England.
cold. That's it. So, yeah, I think today someone in the car. In fact, before I go into that, first of all, thank you for everyone who watches, likes, comments, and subscribes. You know, all those things are important for us people who are putting content out there. Doesn't cost you anything. If you enjoy the videos, feel free to comment. Let us know where we're going wrong. I mean, one person did say on the Alan Watts video that you can't take this seriously because you was texting on your phone. You went, your dad's texting on the phone while he's watching The Greatest Philosopher. I can't take this seriously. But yeah, it's not meant to be that serious, guys. As I said, it's just us and our opinions. So it's up to you if you want to watch. Today, we're going to be doing Sadhguru. I say today, we're going to do loads of people today. I'm going to say this video, we're going to be watching Sadhguru. And he's going to be talking about burnout. And I thought this was quite, because this wasn't actually requested by anyone, but it come out because, you know, I've been like one of them people always say, like, you're going to burn out, you know, when you've got a young family at home, when you've got business, setting up another business, trying to do this as well. Then just life. Where do you find the time to slow down and not burn out? Because I'm always of the ilk as well, that if something needs doing, just do it, and like, don't wait till tomorrow to do it. So I can get up in the morning and be like working from 6 a.m, but then I won't come off my computer or I won't stop working. I might have meetings or whatever, but might finish at 9 o'clock on the night, which I also realise has detrimental, or not detrimental, but has an impact on family life, I should say. So it definitely can have an impact on family life. But where do you know when you need to stop and if you should? Before burnout happens, is what I'm saying. Because surely you just keep going until you're tired, until you've essentially burnt out.
I guess some people are very focused on their work, so I guess it leads to burnout a lot quicker.
But do you think it can lead to burnout a lot quicker, but it can also lead you to getting where you need to go a lot quicker?
Absolutely.
So I guess it just depends on how you're doing it. If you're just running around doing stupid stuff, then you burn out. It's kind of like, well, yeah, that's because you was...
Well, I don't know about stupid stuff. People do what they see in it, or what they need, or what they feel needs to be done in some instances.
Yeah.
Not everybody can set a business up. Not everybody can juggle several balls at the same time. You know, people come to the table with different skill sets.
Definitely.
So the way you approach your business is going to be centered around that. I think if you're working under somebody else's kind of structure, it may not work with you, which may lead to burnout. But if you're working for yourself and you do achieve work-life balance, people do work from home and they do make it work. Some people work from home and it destroys their relationship, but that's about how you approach the whole thing, how you see it. The money is important, but other things are important too. It's just putting them in place. Time, everybody gets the same amount of time. Here's your portion when you come into the world. When it's up, it's up. So how you spend it, that's totally individual. If you want to contribute 90% of it to working to achieve something that you can't take with you when you leave, so be it. But if you want to enjoy some of this while you're here,
I guess it depends on what you enjoy, because some people just enjoy doing that.
Well, the other things we're talking about, family and these other things. So we understand work. Yes, people enjoy work, but like I said, there
some
may
people
be a
enjoy
price
work
for
more
it.
than their family.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Work is an escape from the family.
But it's not like, it's not enjoying work more than your family. I guess there's just like, if we're going to be honest, sometimes when you're at home, I don't know if it's ADHD, because I definitely haven't got ADHD, but to me, sitting down, unless I'm actively doing something of some value with my family, as in I'm actively playing with the kids, and that doesn't mean sitting in front of the TV watching the kids watch TV. That to me, there's nothing in that.
What I like about that is how many times you said TV. Like I said, playing with the kids ain't watching TV.
But so this is what I'm saying. So there's actively playing with your kids, and actively doing homework, actively going and experiencing things. That's like quality time, innit? But if you're just at home and like the kids are watching TV, see, my missus gets on me for this. If they're in the room and the kids are watching TV, I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to do some work. You've been at work all day. You don't just want to come and sit down. And I'm just thinking, sit down for what? Like, I don't get it. Like, I get you saying, like, you spend some time with the kids, but I'm like, I'll spend time with them and we're doing something. Like, if they want to engage in a conversation and, like, I don't know, we're doing something, then, yeah, cool, I'm down for that. But if you want me to just sit and be in a room, I'd rather go and do something productive. But then, like I said, that can lead me being on a computer, like, for quite a while, and then it's like, oh, you're gonna burn out. I'm like, well, no,
it infers that productive means doing something else, whereas productive is just the goal you set in it. So if you, at the moment, I think the television is the soother for everybody. Switch the telly on. There is no real need to engage with each other. It's on for breakfast, dinner, tea, and everything. They go and put it on when they want. So telly becomes important to them, but it's just a backdrop. But really creates the absence of conversation, a meaningful conversation.
Yes.
Is there a time when you sit down and really, not as school, actually talk about the purpose and the this and the that at their level? This is what I said. Conversations, you create the opportunity for conversations. They don't just happen. Television is a backdrop, and people don't learn to communicate because everyone's just, sorry.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of that myself.
Right.
My phone.
So
I'm
to
very
me,
guilty of it.
Being at home with lots of people around you, you can still be lonely and isolated because you're just in your own zone.
Yeah, 100%.
And you can teach your kids to do that as well. Whereas what you're actually trying to teach them is to be engaging and creative. If you don't draw with them, they don't draw. Yeah, draw us a picture that ain't the same as, yo, finish this up for me, you understand?
Yeah, definitely.
And this is what I said, in my work in recent years with young people, I've never really appreciated the dad who drops his kids off and drives off and picks them up a couple of hours later. I have more time for the dad who comes in and not all the time, but a significant portion of the time. Don't just drop them off and bounce like it's got nothing to do with you. You want to update afterwards. You could have been seeing it for yourself. That kids celebrate. They kind of run towards their dads. Your dad ain't there. You're just on a mad thing all the time on the pitch.
Yeah.
You understand? So to me, what you put in is what you get at. But teaching your kids that television is the answer to something is definitely the wrong way. If they're playing games, it's games time, but it shouldn't just be all the time, anytime, as a priority, regardless of who else is in. You understand?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, that's, to be honest, it's a whole different issue in terms of burnout, but I 100% agree with you.
Well, that's the home life part. So the home life balance I'm talking in terms of how someone approaches burnout. Yeah, they work.
I do think you do need to make time for yourself.
Some people go to the gym and burn out.
What I think is that a lot of people think that, like my when me and my partner got together, she didn't understand that, like, for me, work isn't, like, it's not having a 9 to 5. So them hours there, it's not the same, and it's not like, oh, you get a 9 to 5, then you come Monday to Friday, then you've got Saturday, Sunday to relax. Like, that was never been the way I've operated. So it was kind of like, I work Saturday and Sunday sometimes.
Yeah, you know that. But when you're telling them, do you think they understand what you're talking about? If their mindset is Monday to Friday, weekend is this.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. I think at first they tell themselves, like, yeah, that's fine. But then it's a bit like, oh, I don't really, like, you're working a lot. But this is the other thing I say to people about having your own business. Like, I wouldn't tell everyone to have their own business. Like, people assume that when you got your own business, you've got all your own time. And I say, there is no time. You don't get holidays. There ain't no, like, you know, if something goes wrong, you've got to deal with it. There's no, like, you know, you can have a day off. Don't get me wrong, you can maneuver your time around easier than it being structured by someone else. But essentially, you still got to work every day. Like, there ain't no holiday, there ain't no holiday pay. You've got to make sure your staff are, like, being paid. So it's harder, innit? And that all comes into the burnout. I think stress is a lot of it as well.
Absolutely.
If you're under
Absolutely.
Burnout comes from stress. If you put yourself under stress constantly, then you're gonna burn out.
But some people argue they operate best under stress.
Yeah. Do you know what it is when people say that to me? I don't know. I feel like, is that like a lazy excuse? It's kind of like, oh yeah, but I operate pressure when I'm under pressure. So, but you didn't do it the other way to find out. You just waited until you was under pressure and then you managed to squeeze something out. But how good would it have been if you did the work 6 months ago, and then that 6 months that you left it sitting on your desk, you reviewed it, and then the end product could have been way better. They're like, no, I'll just leave it till the last 2 weeks and then I'll do it. Yeah, that's cool. I'm not saying you won't be able to do the work, but surely if you've got more time, the end product will be better. Anyway,
we're going to watch the film.
Yeah, we're going to watch the film. So this is one simple way to overcome burnout.
To those 54% of physicians who are burned out, what would you say to them?
Particularly in a profession like this, where it's a question of life and death for somebody else. 7 days of the week, 20 hours a day, 365 days. This is our schedule. You will not see me burned out. Maybe I'll die of exhaustion one day, but definitely not of burnout.
A big study came out. 54% of physicians in America meet criteria for burnout. And nurses are in the same boat, and you're here at a medical school, and we're looking for answers, and we're looking for hope. And so to those 54% of physicians who are burned out, and the nurses and PAs and nurse practitioners, all of us in healthcare, what would you say to them?
If we have to bring health, either to ourselves or to others, one fundamental thing is you bring a very profound sense of wholeness into you, the various dimensions of life that we are. All of it is in sync and functioning well. It's sad to hear that physicians are in a state of burnout. How would they cause health? They could sell more medicine, but they cannot cause health if they are in a state of burnout. Now we're seeing, as modern medicine progresses, comes out with miracle after miracle, research, all kinds of things. But people are not getting healthy. More people are getting sick than ever before. A country like United States, which is the most affluent country on the planet, which essentially means you have a choice of nourishments. Every human being has a choice of nourishment. Most of the ailment that you see in other parts of the world are nourishment related in some way, because the needed nourishment is not there at the right time for a whole lot of people on this planet. But in a country where there is a choice of nourishment, I would say an excessive choice of nourishment, the nation is spending $3 trillion on healthcare. This is bigger than the budgets of major nations in the world. India's economy is around $3 trillion. You're spending that much on healthcare of 250,000 people. This shows somewhere we have missed health. Maybe we have an industry going, but we have missed health. Well, we can explain it in so many ways, but doctors being under burnout, I see this in every profession. Everybody thinks their profession is the most difficult one. If any individual human being is creating something that they really care for, there would be never any kind of burnout. Myself and a whole lot of people around me, we are 7 days of the week, 20 hours a day, 365 days. This is our schedule. You will not see me burned out. Maybe sometimes I'll get physically exhausted. Maybe I'll die of exhaustion one day, but definitely not of burnout or boredom. Those two things will never happen to me. Why I'm saying this is, the fundamental reason why this is happening is particularly the physicians, because there are various kinds of professions. But particularly when people go to a doctor, in some way they're placing their life in his hands. So when somebody is willing to place their life in your hands, you must treat it as a sacred duty. It's not just a job, it's not just a business. When somebody is willing to place their life in your hands, I'm telling you, even people who live with you, your own wife and children or husband is not willing to place their life in your hands completely. But somebody, an unknown person comes and places his life in your hands, I think it's the greatest privilege that somebody trusts you at that level, that they're willing to trust you with life. You could do right things or wrong things, knowingly or unknowingly, because nobody has figured the human body absolutely, all right? We know it to some extent. So you may do any number of wrong things, but they place their life into your hands. I think traditionally it was said like this in India. In any given society, if education, medicine and spiritual process, if it gets commercialized, that society will go down the drain. I think we are doing this to the entire modern world. All three are becoming commercialized. There is nothing wrong with commerce. Commerce is a transaction of give and take. You give me this, I'll give you that. But there are some things which cannot be handled as just give and take. If you bring this aspect of transaction into spiritual process, into education and into medicine, then it turns ugly, and that ugliness will definitely burn you out one way or the other. Above all, what people are experiencing is burnout is, first of all, they're doing something that they don't care for. If they were genuinely doing something that they truly care for, there would be no burnout. The more opportunity you get to do it, the better it would be, isn't it? Everything is towards a certain end. The joy of doing what you're doing is not there in one's life. This is not just for any one profession, it's for all professions, but particularly in a profession like this, where it's a question of life and death for somebody else. When it's a question of life and death for the person who is sitting in front of you, it can't be a transaction for you. Well, there is a business end to everything. Because to make anything sustainable, there has to be a business end to it. We are not against the business end of it, but within yourself, if you don't do it as a great offering to the person who is sitting in front of you, of course they will pay their fee, but within yourself, if you're not like this, definitely you will burn out doing this kind of work. Otherwise, every day, if you helped a person, if in some way you made somebody's life… their life better, by the end of the day, should you be ballooned into a joyful state or should be in a state of burnout at the end of the day? It should not be a burnout. If you genuinely experienced, you have enhanced many lives around you, this is not about service, this is not about ideas of I served this, I did this. No, there is a joy within a human being when they're able to touch another life. Why you're holding a few people dear to you as family is because you believe you can touch their life in some way. You can make a difference. That is what is most important for a human being. In every activity that we perform, whatever the nature of the activity, how profoundly we can touch someone else, this is what makes the big difference. If you make a movie, you don't want to make a movie which nobody wants to watch, would you? You want people to watch this movie and come to tears, isn't it? You don't want to build a house that nobody wants to live in. You don't want to cook something that nobody wants to eat. These things you can do only because in some way you are able to touch another life through your activity. This is most fundamental need within the human being. And as a physician, you have a phenomenal opportunity of touching lives like very few other professions can do. And this should not lead to burnout, but this is happening so because we are trying to treat it like a transaction. And the most fundamental thing that we have not understood in this process is that human experience is caused from within, not from outside. Your joy and misery, your pain and pleasure, your agony and ecstasy, even light and darkness right now is happening only within you. It never happens around you. What happens within you? If you try to fix it by fixing what is around you, you will go bonkers in no time. I am surprised why only 54%. Because if you don't understand human experience is caused from within, especially medical professionals who in some way have delved into the nature of human physiology and I believe to some extent the mind, we must know that every aspect of human experience comes from within. And today, modern medicine especially, unlike the traditional medicine, is entirely chemical fixes for everything. So you understand that both health and illness is happening because of chemistry. Joy and misery is a certain chemistry, different types of chemistry. Ecstasy and agony are different types of chemistry. Or in other words, we are a chemical soup. The question is only, are you a great soup or a lousy soup? Now, if I give soup-making ingredients to all of you, do you believe all of you will come with the same kind of soup? You will come with 100 different varieties of soups. So there is something called as the skill of soup making. I can teach you a way of making your chemistry into a blissful chemistry. That means you're blissful by your own nature, not because of something that happened around you. This is exactly what I'm saying.
To those…
Busy there, are you?
What do you think?
Yo, it sounds like me. Sounds like my work, sounds like my philosophy, you know.
I think it's kind of like when people say if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. The same kind of thing what he's trying to say. And that's what I actually often say to people when they say, like, when we're talking about burnout. I say, do you know what it is to me? Like, it's like, I genuinely enjoy doing what I do, so it doesn't feel like, if I have to sit on my computer and do something for 6 hours, like, the time flies on it, because it doesn't feel like it's that long. So yeah, I feel like most people are doing things for transactional reasons, and there's only so long you can do it. It's funny because a friend of mine rang me yesterday, and he's looking for a unit he like the buy and sell on Amazon, and and he was looking for a unit, and then he went to me and went, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna like do it myself. And I went, I said, bro, do it, because he's like, they're gonna save a load of money doing it that way, innit? So I said, do it, yeah. But I just said, like, and he's done it, and he was telling me, because he's got his own business as well, but they just make more money on the side business. So he's thinking, yeah, I'm gonna spend more time on that. But I said, bro, like, I've done it. You see them jobs there? It's not like the job's hard in what you're doing, but because it's that monotonous, it does just become transactional. So you get burnt out doing them things because there's no enjoyment in it. You're there, you're packaging. Like, so if you're packaging just day to day the same thing, you can get burnt out quite easy because there is no real enjoyment in it. Like, even he knows he hates doing it already. He done one day, he done 3 hours.
Mash up.
He done 3 hours, was like, I packaged about 4 things. I was just laughing. He was like, no, but I'll give it a go. I said, yeah, give it a go, innit, to see if you can do it.
The thing is, it traps you, innit? You can't go anywhere when you got a package. That's burnout.
This is
Whereas
what
when
so
you use a brain type approach, you can walk away for a bit. If you work from home, you can go and cook and do what you got to do and come back to it. Go and come.
But it's the same as if you're still not finding any enjoyment in what you're doing, that burnout's still going to come.
Burnouts, I would argue, we've been working for millions of years. Burnout's a new term that they apply to city dwelling, city type things which become monotonous and boring. But people don't cook and they don't do the things they used to do. They just go to work and come home, and they expect the family to this, and it doesn't. If you don't make it, it doesn't. So to me, the popular myth of a relationship and work-life balance, all it is work-life balance. You need a way. If you love work, but you gotta have something else. You can't just do one thing. If you enjoy playing the guitar, play the guitar, but you can't just do one thing. Bills are gotta be paid. So people do what they gotta do to achieve both. What happens is work takes your dreams, and so when you have a job, a man pays you X amount of time. You don't have no time to live your dreams or chase your potential, because you already sold your time to a man for X amount every year. When you haven't sold your time, then you can use all your time in any which way, because there is no critique. As long as you're able to pay your bills, then you're successful.
That's true. As long as you are able to pay bills and you are successful, and that then becomes a balance, but then that becomes an invitation of what do you want and what is your idea of success in it.
Yeah.
Because some people's success is just being able to pay their bills. So if that's successful to you to be able to pay your bills and then go and sit down for 20 hours a week and play guitar, then you're a success. That's your idea of success. But others is if your ideas of paying your bills, having savings, being able to treat your family, making sure your kids are all right, then paying your bills isn't a success. That's surviving.
I think, though, come a point, your kids ain't your kids no more. You understand? So your priorities change.
What you mean?
What your priorities are now won't be the same in 10 years. You understand? In terms of how you prioritize won't be the same in 10 years. It changes.
In 10 years, mine definitely will be.
So, no, you should be closer to the mark or have started on a different route in 10 years, I would say.
I think your route changes every but mine changes. I try and take mine like every 5 years, and I hope every 5 years I've got to a point where I'm changing direction. In terms of that, I've achieved enough to say that I've reached a certain point where my directions can change. But essentially, the goals are always the same, because you have to admit, like, my kids and youngest is only 2, so in 10 years she's only gonna be 12. So I still got to think, right, like, you know, still got to provide, still got to put her through school, still got to, you know, potentially put her through university.
You think that?
Is this what I think?
I never thought that.
Yeah, it's different. It's different for different people. But
why am I thinking that with a 2-year-old? I gotta provide. Yeah, it's your 2-year-old. You just do it, and you never think about it. You just crack on. And university, boy, God willing, she get to go to university. This is how me think now. You understand? Whereas before, like you, I would have probably, I've got to do this, and that long-term surety. I don't really have that surety in things anymore. Now I'm more.
But this is the thing, I don't have
pragmatic.
But that's the thing, isn't it? So I don't have that surety in anything but myself.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Like, I don't believe in there's luck and people ain't gonna do nothing for you unless you want to do it yourself. Unless you're very lucky. So what I'm saying to you is, like, no one ain't gonna put my daughter where I want her to go but me. Essentially, or no one's gonna give me the things that I want for my family but me. Now the thing is, my wife could want something completely different to what I want.
Absolutely.
So she just working on what she wants, so that's why she's happy to have the 9 to 5 and the da-da-da, because she doesn't mind. So she would be happy for me to just have a 9 to 5 and say, listen, we've got a very good life, we could live this life comfortably, we'd have more time, we could do this and do that. But that's her vision, isn't it? So I'm happy for that. So I understand that, but she also understands that isn't my vision. So my vision is this is where the work like goes up, and like, probably there's. And don't get me wrong, I actually do spend a lot of time with my family, so it's not a case of I don't. So I kind of get the best of both, I guess. But in the same sense, there's also still a lot of work that goes into it. But yeah, like you said, I just genuinely believe that, like, you have to make what you're gonna do. So doing what you love is great and grand, and I love that. But I just think if you can find a way where you take aspects of what you love into your work, then that's also a good compromise. Because yeah, it's easy for me to say I could just pay my bills and then go and make cartoons all day and just be like, yeah, this is fun, this is great, but there's nothing really at the end of it. I'm just doing it to satisfy my own.
What Sadhguru talked about was
pleasure.
No,
not what he talked about. I'm saying that I could say.
Right,
satisfy my own pleasure.
What he was talking about was the work and touching people's lives.
Yeah.
So if your burnout is something that doesn't really connect with people, then maybe it's not the brightest thing. But if you're touching, you know, it tends to be more humane.
Yes.
And that burnout factor doesn't exist. So where you live in a almost binary, you know, machine type thing, there's a possibility of burnout. But if you're doing things that, you know, you stop for lunch and you look after yourself and have conversations and relationships, you know, beyond the home, in life, generally, it's in life, isn't it? It's not at home. Home is just where you chilled. So you've just got to make work blend with life in a relaxing way. Now, like I said, in terms of whether you're in business or not, that isn't determined by any of that. Like I said, burnout is the result of work you put in. The way you organize and structure your day is 100% your business. It's not anybody else's. Someone gives you a task, you've got to get it done. two people will approach it two completely different ways. One person panics and from around, but they're handing on the day. The other person, like you says, does it the night before. They're totally chilled about it. What's the difference? As long as the task gets done by the time.
It depends on the quality of the work.
Well, if they both hit the target mark,
Yeah, but what I will say is, like, again, this depends on your standards. And so if you work for an organisation, the organisation sets the standard. And so what I'm saying to you is, one, and the other thing is, one allows for margin of error, one doesn't. So the reason
lessens, I would say, rather than doesn't. Yeah, go on.
Well, so listen to this, and so if I've got sort of documents to fill in, right? They say I need it in for the 30th of December. Now this could be like a 50 grand contract. You got to fill in a whole document. The 30th of December, this document's got to be in. You give me this document in August, July. And I'm thinking, it's got to be in December. I'm quite good at doing documents, so I'm going to leave it till November. In fact, I'm not even going to open it until November because I've got a full month to do it, yeah? If I think in July, right, let me have a look at this document, right? I'm going to look at this. I'm going to start chipping away at it. So I start in July, bang, yep, I can do this, I can do that. I can get this ready, I can get that ready, I can do this. If I don't look at it till November, then it's like, I've got this to do, that to do, this to do, that to do, this to do. And I've got a month to do it. Now let me run it, get it in, I get the document in. Do you know what? You've done some of this document wrong, or you need X, Y, Z. So now I'm having to ask for an extension on the document that I had 6 months to already do. Whereas I could have just done the document over the period of time, looked at it, scheduled it, and done it in a way. That's what I think. I think leaving things like that to chance is always going to be, you're putting more pressure on yourself, but you're also allowing more or less, like I said, less room for error or for amendment or anything like that. So again, it comes down to then your reputation can be questioned. You can be seen as handing things in late. So I don't understand why you do that.
Unless if it is in late, but if it isn't in late, then you can't be seen as having things in late, right? Again, this is work. You have an approach and your own value system and stuff on how you do things, but as someone who works with other people, you still have to know a good report is a good report. It doesn't have to be A+ all the time to actually get over the line.
Yeah.
You want a B+ at least. 100%. So if your person is able to provide you a B+ report, or is a fundraiser, for example, the guy raises £60 billion every year, but is a permanent disabled when you see him, but the man gets the job done. Really, it's the job that you want done. It doesn't matter how he does it, you just want that 60 million in every year. If he's drunk and completely incapable for the rest of the time, that every time he picks up the phone, the money comes down. So you're going to have that man around doing his thing. So it's not how people do it. Yes, ideally, this is an approach that I could take. For me, I would do it the way you propose because I'm not 100% confident about doing something, but if it's something I'm confident about, then
definitely,
I just provide it.
And you just bang it out.
Right.
100%,
So this is what I'm saying. Where I lack confidence, then I'll build more time in. So, for example, reporting season, interim report, January. I'm on leave till January. So all that time now for doing is actually my annual leave time.
Yeah.
So what do I do? Not have annual leave and prepare the January report.
That's different, isn't it? 'Cause I guess.
And then I'm reporting on what I'm doing now. So there isn't a time to prepare for what I'm doing now because it's live.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna report on it in January.
Yeah, I guess that's different, because that's like a framework.
Well, I'm saying every case is different, and every person is, as an employer, what you do is have a standard. The work comes in. The people you recruit to do that work is because they are
and
competent.
Again, that again helps, isn't it?
Yeah, they are competent at doing that. So this is what I said. you might want a man to do something, but that's not actually his skill area. The good employer uses people in their skill area. I would say, I'm going in with these people, but they're not really gonna like me because they don't like that kind of you go in. Now, if you ain't up to speed on the business, you can't go in the meeting anyway. Even though I know I'd get a better result than you, I still have to go in and get there.
You both have to go.
You understand? So this is what I say. Every situation is different and unique. What you try to have around you is competence and people who have skills that are transitional into other things. So they're going to have to adapt and think on their feet. Some things, yes, we plan for and schedule because they're cyclical almost. Some things are just emergent. They just come up and you've got to deal with them, be able to respond.
100%.
So you want a range of skills.
But listen, just in terms of burnout, what I'm trying to say is, first of all, with what Sadhguru was saying, like, I agree with him in the sense of that, if you're doing things that, you love to do, you won't get burnout. But then he also has to realise that, like, it's hard once you're in the matrix, isn't it? Because essentially, like, you might love being a doctor at first, but you're not the same person when you start as you are 7 years down the line. So you may love doing all that 7 years ago, but 7 years in, you're not the same person. But now your wage matches your lifestyle. So for you to go and get another job or change your whole career to find something that you love doing, that's going to pay you the same, that's going to have you living in the same way, respectively with its holidays, houses, mortgage, whatever. That's a hard thing to take. So you're going to have to keep up the same work rate, not in love with the job you're doing. And that will cause burnout as well because, like you say, you don't like it, so it just becomes stressful. Every day is just stressful then. So it's a hard thing to do because we don't stay the same. Like, it's very rarely that people will love and stay doing the same thing they're doing for the rest of their life.
Some people don't need to hear, and like I said, every single case is different. But burnout comes from people who are high pressured and very undating. I don't think calm people burn out.
You don't think people just burn out in normal jobs?
No.
You only think high pressure job people burn out?
Well, do housewives burn out? Is that when relationships break down?
Yes, of course they do. You leave your woman in the house all day. She's got 3 kids.
Whoa, I didn't say leave nobody nowhere. I said housewife, housewife.
But what I'm saying is,
a role.
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, I do think they do. Yeah, 100%. The first woman, do you get burnt out? Yeah. If her responsibility is the house and she's tidying up, or if she got kids and she's looking after kids every day, then yeah, of course it can burn out. And that can come in the forms of people not seeing that it's burnout, and then you got housewives who are depressed, who are drinking all the time and doing all this. Yeah, right. I'm sure that happens.
There are different things, but is that burnout because they're drinking and doing this? Is that burnout, or is them living their life?
No, I would say that it's a symptom of it, isn't it? Like, if you can't handle the life that you're in, or you're burnt out doing what you're doing, then yeah, it's burnout.
It's not that. Some people, and some jobs in particular that I've been in, Friday night and after work at the bar is corporate almost. They all go to the pub after work. That's where a lot of business gets done.
Isn't it, though? That's life in any job.
If you go to the pub after work and drink every day, then you end up liking to drink a lot, and then when that don't happen, you carry on drinking. So it's not burnout. It can just be that you've picked up the habit and you carry on.
No, that's not what we just said. I just said if you're a housewife...
You said it's one of the symptoms. But
no, I didn't say drinking was. I said specifically to housewives. Because I know women that have been in the house with the kids, housewives, their man goes to work, they're at home all day, they got tidy kids, same thing, repeat. 1 year, they have another 2 years, so that 1 year can lead to 3-4 years, whereas they might have had a career before. They get burnt out being a housewife. That can happen, and that's when I said, you see it happening, then it starts with drinking, because in that essence, that's even a deeper subject, but that's them like themselves. But it is burnout, essentially.
I always say, just like the work, if you're doing something that don't come natural to you, then it's just not going to work, is it? You know, again, if you meet someone
I don't
who
think it's
loves
natural
kids, loves
for-
being around kids and all that kind of thing, they don't ever burn out. They love kids all the time. They always respond and bubble to them. I know one woman in particular that I know like that. So I'm just trying to say, I know other people who are very by the book with their kids, and their kids respond to it. You know one too. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's the right way, wrong way, or anything. Some people crazy. It's
See,
not
so-
burnout.
So let's wrap it up quick then. So do you think, first of all, you think burnout is only for people in high-powered jobs then?
Nah, I think it's just popular culture. They have words for all sorts of things.
Yeah. Okay, so that was, I don't even know. So what was his ways to avoid burnout was love what you do. That was essentially it.
Yeah,
That's
as I said,
essentially it.
same philosophy I use. You know, what's real to you is important.
It's the same philosophy I use, but like I said, it's not always as easy to do that. Circumstances don't permit for everyone just to do what they love to do.
They do.
No, they don't.
They do.
No, they don't.
They do.
No,
It's
they
how
don't.
you prioritize that determines what happens. Believe me, circumstances do. But because for you, let's say, for example, if you embraced a new religion, for example, and it required you to do something, you would do it. Doesn't matter what your life was, that religion and that thing would become a priority above everything else, because people are doing this every day. So even with Islam and Deen, you're not doing all them things you're doing before, but then all of a sudden 5 times a day before this blub, 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 blub. You know, to be a good Muslim, you do them even though you don't give up your job and give up your
But I was
this
just
and
about
your
to say
high
that,
power.
like, doesn't, like, there's actually no, with the religious thing,
Well, that was an
you
example.
change,
You
yeah,
can change.
your habits.
Yeah.
Yeah, but habits aren't social.
Well,
constructs,
it isn't
like-
habit. It isn't a habit. You do it because it's the requirement in it. So
Yeah, what I'm saying to you is whether you pray or you don't pray. So if I don't pray, and I say I'm going to become religious, so now I've got to pray 5 times a day.
no, I'm just showing you. You can change what you're doing. Your time isn't set in one thing. You can always change your priorities. So if you can change them for something as profound as a religion, you can change them in any
what?
context. Yeah, around your work. If I had, I've got to do this at that time, and it becomes the everyday thing, then you do it. It isn't, I've got to pick my daughter up from school at 3 o'clock. That's religion, right? That doesn't become optional because I just make sure all my meetings are never around 3 o'clock.
But what if the thing you love to do, you can't do?
Pick your daughter up at 3 o'clock.
No, that's different. That's like
For example, then.
a family. So let's say, I don't know,
It's a commitment, and
let's say I
it
wanna
might
ride,
be important to you.
Let's say I want to ride horses,
Yeah.
but I live in
Aston.
Yeah, I live in Aston. Or, yeah, I want to be a surfer, but I live in Aston. Yeah, never seen a wave, never seen nothing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've got a family.
How do you be a surfer?
I guess you could just up your family and move to the coast and be a surfer.
Or you could go on vacations or camps or
So I
this.
guess you
There
could
are
do that.
ways around it.
There's ways to import.
There's a guy who
Okay.
lives on my mum's road who we
And
went
actually
to
that
school
would
with.
commit the burnout. Go on.
He flies airplanes. He works at Birmingham Airport. He did this pilot thing from school in his bedroom, bro. This man works in a factory, but he's actually a qualified pilot. Lives up the road. You can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to be out there for you to do it. This perception of doing it, is out there. So, nah, man, you do anything you want to do now. I don't know if he's ever earned a penny flying, but he qualified.
And I guess that depends on it. Like,
and
if
that
you
was
want-
his dream from school.
But that's also the other thing as well, isn't it? Like you're saying, it's not as though, like, the way I'm thinking about it is from what Sadhguru was saying, like, if you do something that you love, but you don't actually have to do it as a job. Like, you could have your job still or have a job still, and then, like you say, take it up as a hobby and, You know, so then you've got more time and you're not going to burn out because you're doing something you love, and then it comes into work-life balance.
And what did you say your mum always asked you?
You happy?
Boom.
Yeah. All right then. We out. Peace.